the truth about going to NYU Tisch, School of the Arts. Okay guys, what's up? My name is Kiara, and I'm here to talk about what it was like going to NYU Tisch School of the Arts. I studied film and TV production, and I'm FOC, fresh off commencement. Like, I literally just graduated. I've got my Tisch commencement hat somewhere, and still waiting for my diploma in the mail though. Here's proof I got the merch. Hey! I just wanted to make this video because I remember before I went to NYU, I was like looking up all these videos about like, oh, the truth about going to NYU and the truth about being in film and TV, the truth about Tisch, you know? And I watched some videos that were encouraging and I watched some videos that were discouraging, but I'm not gonna say that this one's gonna be either or. I'm gonna say that this is going to be truthful. But the first truth is that I loved Tisch. This is gonna be both an NYU review and a NYU Tisch review because I think they're very different, and I think you're going to experience that, especially if you're in Tisch. You're going to see the difference between Community at NYU as a whole and then Tisch. So let's start with NYU as a whole. NYU is a big school, okay? It's big, it has a lot of departments, a lot of different majors, a lot of different schools, and you're going to feel kind of segregated in your own school. Most of your friends are probably going to be in the same major as you because it's a busy city. We don't have a campus, right? The city is your campus, so you're just everywhere. And so the friends that you're going to make, a lot of them are going to be in class, or maybe if you join some clubs, which I would definitely suggest. If you want a big friend group, you got to join some clubs. If you want some people from diverse backgrounds and majors, you're probably going to want to branch out. Or even if you want to find some people with some common ground, like I know there's a big, like my one friend, she was in a Dominican club, and so she met a lot of other Dominicans that she could relate to. And there's the Black Society. There's like, you know, a lot of different things that you could join if you do want to find those common interests. But you're gonna have to go searching for it. This isn't a school that you go to and you're gonna sit down with people in the dining hall and all of a sudden you're gonna be best friends that are gonna last forever. And by the way, your welcome week friends are not your lifelong friends most of the time. Of course, there's always exceptions to everything that I'm going to be saying, but from my experience and from my friends' experiences, that's what I'm going to be speaking on. Be open to the experience of doing things on your own at NYU and like trying new things, and then from there you'll meet other people. But I found that if I really want to do something, that I'm just going to go out and do it now, because it's hard waiting for a bunch of other people to finally, you know, be like, okay, I'm going to do this, or to commit, because so many people are busy with their schedules. New York is a bustling city that never sleeps, as they say. And so you're going to have a hard time sometimes making sure that your schedule's aligned with your friends, which is totally normal and fine. I'm sure that happens at state schools. But let me just tell you, I think that a lot more people have better luck sticking with people whenever you have a campus. Here, you don't have a campus and you're spread out. We have dorms everywhere. We have dorms in Brooklyn and Manhattan and just like spread out. So just be prepared to be a little bit independent, especially in your freshman year, and independent enough where you're able to like be like, hey, I want to go out and do this, so I'm going to go do it, and hopefully, you know, I'll meet someone along the way. If not, then whatever, I still got the experience. I'd say that's like the number one thing. Be ready to spend money at NYU too. I know that it's an expensive school in general, and everyone who goes is very lucky, especially if you're not on a huge scholarship. Like if you can afford to go or even get loans and go, it's gonna hurt your pockets, yes, but you also need to be prepared to spend money outside of that. And this is gonna transition us into Tisch life. Tisch is amazing. I love it. It's an amazing art school that I got to do so many incredible things and meet so many talented people. But let me tell you, that price point, it's expensive, and not just how much it costs to go there for your major, but you got to buy things like hard drives and equipment insurance, and you got to fund your films. Like for me specifically, I'm in film and TV, so we're on sets and you have to fund that. They give you a small allotment, like $500, which guys, if you've ever made a film, you know that's nothing. That doesn't even cover crafty, which is like food and stuff. that like barely, okay? You got to cover the cost of transportation and holding your equipment. And like I said, there's just so many extra fees that you don't think about before you go. So I think really be prepared for that, or be ready to do things on a tight budget and be economical about your decisions. Hey guys, so this is me from the future. Actually very far into the future. I recorded this video back in like, I think June. I was, fresh off commencement, and now it is about to be November. Actually, Halloween's tomorrow, so happy Halloween. I'm here to talk about something that I didn't mention in the initial video, which is the stress of NYU. Okay, so obviously certain majors are going to be more stressful than others. I get that. I'm not having the same stressors as a med student is having, for example. But in art school, it's a very independent type of major. I'm on film sets. I'm working with like 20 other students, to get this film completed. But I think a big part of what I mean by independent is that it is all up to you if you're going to get your materials in on time and if you're going to do the work to make yourself learn more. We learn in class, but a lot of it happens outside of class. We're writing our scripts outside of class. We're filming outside of class. We're doing all this stuff to manage ourselves. So it's very, very, very independent. We don't even have grades that are really based on what you turn in. Art is subjective. It's based on how you execute things. So the stress of handling everything yourself is something that some people aren't really accustomed to, or that you really have to get used to once you're in it. No one is forcing you, saying, I need you to make sure you have this many meetings so that when you get to set, you're fully executed. People really learn a lot about themselves on how they organize and how they lead a team through NYU Tisch. But I will say, with the stress of art school, be prepared to really, really grind whenever you're in the middle of a production season. If you're making a film, the biggest thing is that, especially for student films, you are responsible in each department. Like, yeah, you allocate it to people. You're like, okay, you're the DP and you're the PD, like you're the production designer, things like that. But at the end of the day, it's your film and no one's going to care about it more than you. And I remember I was making my intermediate film. Basically, back in 2020, I broke 3 of my teeth, right? Literally in my front 3 teeth. And they weren't fully fixed by this time. Whenever I did my intermediate, at night, I was grinding my teeth. I was like biting down. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I was grinding my teeth from stress. I bite down, boom, part of my tooth pops out. That's how stressed I was. And I was so stressed too that I was getting blind spots in my eyes. So again, it's really about managing your stress and making sure that you're taking care of your body, because a lot of times on set too, you have heavy equipment, you have things that you have to really be careful about. And I want to say to anyone who's going into film and TV, please remember that at the end of the day, this is a learning experience. I learned way too late that the sets that I'm on, yeah, I really care about doing a good job, but I also care about learning and being safe as I do it. Nothing ever, whether it's a student film or a professional set, is worth your body or your life. So please, please keep in mind, people think this is like all or nothing. Oh my God, my thesis film. Guys, be safe and learn. Another thing why it's independent is because on film sets, NYU student film sets, there are no professors there, helping you, guiding you. You take set and safety for literally 1 semester at the beginning of your college career. If I had to interject something into the system, I'd be like, no, you have to take set and safety every year. I forgot so many things from that and had to figure it out on the fly on set, or I had to look up beforehand and research, oh my God, how do you properly rig something from above? How do you counterbalance these lights? I'm getting into a tangent, but safety is a huge thing because a lot of people have died on sets, student and professional. That's something that really should never happen. And if people are safe, managing their stress and managing their team to a level of trust and accountability, then a lot of these problems would go away. Tisch itself is a small world. If you don't know someone, it's very likely that they know someone that you know and that you have mutuals. I'll follow someone on Instagram who I just met and suddenly we have 50 mutuals because Tisch is really small. You work together or with the same people a lot and everyone knows each other there, or you recognize faces. And so it kind of reminded me of my high school, because I went to a smaller high school where we all knew each other. It was nice to get both the experience of going to a big school and seeing how the attitude is there, and feeling like I was in a small school within my major and department. It was just nice to have both of those. And let me tell you, I love Tisch. I loved being in all my classes. I think we have incredible resources that we get, but here's the problem. And here's the catch-22. You get all these amazing resources and equipment that you can use on set and stuff, but then as soon as you graduate, as soon as you're FOC, fresh off commencement, you don't get those resources anymore. We get to keep our email in our drive, but then like my Adobe access just shut off. And like, I know this happens at like all schools, but it's sad because film and TV has such a price point to entry. Like, you can't just go out and buy an Ari, or, you know, like, you can't just go out and buy an Alexa 35, you know, or a Alexa Mini. Like, those are $60,000 cameras, but we got to use that in my camera class. I have no clue when the next time I'll be able to put my hands on it. But speaking of that, I do have a video that is either up already or going to be up after this. That is me building an Alexa Mini fully out. So you guys should definitely check that out. I learned a lot at Tisch. I really did. Even though it's an art school, if you go, especially like the camera route, but any route you go, you're going to learn a lot. Even if it's not necessarily that you're always doing tests, you're going to retain a lot of information. I think the way that they do it is amazing. But again, it's that, you know, after you graduate, it's like, where are the resources? They try to set up a few things. I did some counseling stuff while I was in my last semester, and it just wasn't as helpful as I would have hoped. It was like, they just reassured me that I'm doing the right thing, but it's like, okay, where's my job now? I'm applying to all these things. Like, what's happening? And so I think really be prepared when you're going to NYU to try to make as many connections as possible, because that's really what you're there for. Like, everyone knows when you're in Tisch, what you're paying for is really that networking and connections experience, because that's the main thing you're getting out of it, because you can't keep half of the things that you get whenever you're in school once you're out of school. They always say, like, when you go down the art career, you're going to struggle for a while, which no one really likes to hear. And I'm fresh off commencement. So, you know, I'm not even really in that full struggle period. It still feels like I'm about to go to school in like 2 months or whatever. I think right now it's just that up in the air point where it's like anything could happen, and that's really scary, but it's also really fun because it's like, okay, I don't have one set path that I want to go down. But also be prepared when you're at NYU to be comparing yourself to a lot of other people, and be prepared to do that, and be prepared to ground yourself again and be like, I deserve to be here because I'm here. You know, like, someone picked me to come to this school for a reason, and I earned my spot here. And you just have to be confident in yourself. And I think that's what I'm going through too after graduation, is being confident that, hey, I graduated from this school. The name is going to carry me far, but also the accomplishments and the things that I did while in the school has been really important to, you know, who I am and what I have to offer outside of school. Yeah, that's been my biggest thing, is just trying to make sure that I stay confident, or that I try to remind myself that it's gonna work out how it's supposed to work out, because I'm a big believer in that. But I think that was one of my biggest things at NYU. You're surrounded by so many talented, smart, amazing people that you start to compare yourself, and you're like, am I as smart and talented as them? Why didn't my film come out looking like this? Why can't I write like that? But I realized that I never really want to be the smartest in the room, because if I'm the smartest in the room, I'm never going to be learning stuff from other people. And the reason why I want to go into writing for television is that collaboration aspect is amazing. And just having like little writers' rooms in my writing classes at NYU allowed me to get so many ideas like going and add to my story and contribute to others. And I'd say there's nothing greater than having a piece to contribute to someone else and realizing that you either helped them crack something or gave them a new idea that's sending their characters down a different path. It's just like an amazing collaborative experience, which I think that I got in like all my classes at NYU, which is the greatest part about it, because you're just surrounded by so many amazing people who are so talented and driven and passionate about what they're doing. It's fueling your fire, you know? And I think I'm going to struggle with that a little bit after school, which is why I'm trying to make a writer's group. Now, maybe I'll link it down below. We have a little application that me and my friend Brielle are trying to figure out. You know, the biggest thing after school is just trying to like keep those connections with the people that you bonded with in school. I'd really say that while you're at NYU, focus on that. Don't get too bogged down, and no matter what major you are, in the books or the studying, I get it. Like, listen, okay, I get it. I went to art school. It's not the same as if I was in med school, but I'd say try to like have as much fun as you can. and try to get that balance. I studied abroad twice. I went to London both times for 2 film and TV programs. Study abroad, I promise it will be the best thing you ever do. Ever do in college. Let's not set the bar like where we can't ever top that. Like, please. But studying abroad was amazing. Like, I feel like I lived so much life. And you know, as a storyteller, that sounded so pretentious. As someone who wants to write stories, I'm a big observer. You know, I think that's like the number one quality you kind of have to have, that I see all my friends have, is that we love to observe and like see body language and how people talk and like what's going on around us and writing it down. And studying abroad, you go to a whole nother country, culture that you have never been a part of, and you just get to watch and you get to participate, and then stories start going. You all of a sudden have this huge reservoir of just things to say, things to tell, you know, moments to reenact. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that came out of my experience, is that I just realized what it meant to live, you know. And I think the more that you realize how amazing it is to live, the more you want to write, the more you want to read, the more you want to experience. And so that was amazing. I'd recommend for everyone to go, even if you're not film and TV, even if you're a med student. Like, one of my friends who I was with abroad the very first time, she was a nursing student. We went on all these different trips, and she made sure to balance her fun with the pleasure of being able to just live your life. And I'd say that's one of my main goals, is to just always be traveling. And I think that's why film and TV is so amazing, and why Tisch gave me such a great experience, that I was able to combine those 2 loves of traveling and writing and making movies. And actually, I had applied to NYU originally because I saw they had such an amazing study abroad program. So I'm just happy it all came full circle. Yeah, so that's on like the, you know, life of an NYU Tisch person, of just like going to school and like trying to balance that. Let's talk about New York City. Let's talk about it. Yes, the rats are real. People were not exaggerating about that. I once saw a rat carrying a huge slice of pizza across the street and enter into an apartment like grass area. And you know, that just told me everything that I needed to know about New York City. New York is always going. You will feel a little lonely sometimes, and I think a little remedy to get over that is, or to get through that, is to find a place that you really feel home in the city, a place that you can watch the sunset, you know, or a place that you can go and grab drinks with your friends, and getting to really know that the area you're around, because NYU is located in Manhattan, the heart of Manhattan. Tisch is 721 Broadway. The area is an incredible place to be in your 20s, but it is also really hard to just like navigate, especially if you're new to the city. Learn how to take the bus, learn how to take the subway, because you're gonna want to get out of Manhattan, and you're not gonna want to Uber, because those Uber prices are a lot. There's a lot of homelessness in New York, and that's why I'm kind of happy to be home for a bit. You know, I live in the suburbs. You realize how much privilege you have when you can go home and be surrounded by things that make you happy. And New York City a lot of times can make you really sad, because a lot of bad things are going on that is not being taken care of, and that you're going to see every single day. But also a lot of amazing things are going on too. Like, definitely look up the things that are going on around the community, or, you know, Washington Square Park. It's a little sus, you know the parts of the park you don't really want to go towards, which if you're in Lipton Hall, you're going to be right across from some of those parts. But within the actual park, there's always live music there. There's people skateboarding, there's this and that. And I would definitely recommend sitting in that park, you know, and just like observing and participating. I would go into the dog park. I didn't even have my dog with me in the city, but I would go in the dog park and I'd just be surrounded by dogs, and that would just fuel me for the day. Getting my dog fix in, you know, like if I had a sad day and I got to go to the dog park, you know, it wasn't a sad day anymore. So just finding those little things to make you happy is really the key to New York City. You know, you don't have to have a huge friend group, but if you have these spots and moments where you can be with yourself, that's going to be really important. Also, I just want to mention NYU does have sports. I know we are an art school, like we're known for that, but we do have sports. Going to the basketball games is really fun. NYU has no school spirit. Like, none of the students, like if you tell them we have a basketball team, most of them are going to be like, what? But I promise you, like I photographed the sports. I worked for the media department for the athletics. Going to the sports games was really fun. our sports teams are actually really good. We are D3, but our sports teams are good. And going there, finally, you feel some NYU spirit. And the only other time that I felt that, other than going to our sporting games, was actually the commencement. Both ceremonies, we had 2 graduations. Those were really fun. Like, Tisch knows how to throw a party. And graduating in Yankee Stadium for the big commencement, like, I mean, that's just beyond incredible, right? And I'm, very grateful for how it all ended at NYU. But I'd say the biggest thing I'm trying to figure out right now is just going forward from there, like what's going on from there? Okay, I would talk about dorms, but I'm actually coming out with another video that is going to be all about NYU dorms. I'm going to rank some of them and from what I've lived in, and we're also going to talk about the study abroad dorms. So look out for that video, but I just wanted to give a little bit of, what NYU's really like, some of the pros and the cons. And if you're seeing this and you're about to apply, I don't want to discourage you from applying, but take in everything that I said and see if the school is meant for you. But I will say Tisch was amazing, fantastic. NYU as a whole, it's a little bit up in the air. It's a love-hate situationship, that I'm now out of. So we'll see. We'll check back in a year and we'll see how I feel about this love-hate situationship and how's it going. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're going to NYU, put it in the comments, let me know. If you want any recommendations, let me know for the city. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer it. So thank you guys for watching and goodbye NYU.